This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Samsung Transform Android phone on Sprint. This is one of a trio of Samsung phones that are running the new Sprint ID service. Here is the Sanyo that we just reviewed a couple of days ago, the Zio, or Zio, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And this guy's a little bit more high-end, while the Zio sells for $99. This is $149. And what do you get for your money? You get a multi-touch 3.5-inch display, though the resolution is actually lower than the Sanyo phone. This is standard 320 by 480 pixel display. You do get this slide-out keyboard. Shades of the Epic. As to which keyboard we like better, this or the Epic's keyboard, they're both pretty good. So I said this definitely could be a poor man's Epic if you don't want 4G or don't want to be paying $10 an extra a month for 4G that you may or may not have in your area. Of course, this doesn't have the high-end specs of the Epic, but it shares a similar design and overall look. This guy just has a 3.2 megapixel camera back here. It does have a flash. Kind of a nice soft touch rugged back on it. The usual gloss black Samsung front that's pretty attractive with the touch sensitive buttons that light up when you touch the phone. So we take a look around the phone. You see here's a 3.5mm stereo jack up top, and as Samsung likes to do, they've put the micro USB port up top underneath the door. Up top is an annoying location if you want to talk on the phone while you're charging it without using a headset, but what can you do? That's how they're making them these days. Volume control buttons right here. Nothing going on at the bottom. This is where you pry the back off if you want to take out the battery. We'll take a look back there. Let's see what we've got. And here is your battery right here. It's a 1500 milliamp battery, which is a pretty beefy battery. And the micro SD card slot is right here, so you don't have to remove the battery. And Sprint includes a card with the phone. On this side we've got the power button, voice command button, and your camera key. Nice to have a dedicated camera button. And here you have pretty much the standard Android 2.1 experience because we haven't customized this with Sprint ID very much yet. This is the basic Sprint ID look before you've added any other packs on. And we give you weather and calendar widgets, recent contacts, a whole lot of applications dragged out to the desktop. You really don't need those because they're accessible here unless they happen to be your favorite. The Sprint TV widget right there. Little messaging widget. The Sprint Zone, which is kind of handy because it gives you control over your wireless radios, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, and an airplane mode button. Of course, access to your account too. And as with the Sanyo phone, the Zio that we reviewed, you can see there's a button down here. This is the Sprint ID button. If you want to change to a different ID pack, you tap there and you can choose among what you have pre-installed. You can download a new one. And this is pretty good, especially for folks who are just starting out with Android, because it gives you a bunch of pre-picked applications and desktop wallpapers and stuff like that that could be pretty well targeted to stuff you might want. Like if you choose entertainment, you get E and other information. Auto Enthusiast is kind of fun. You get Auto Week, Motor Trend, all of that kind of thing. Some applications relating to managing a car. Straight Business, Fashion and Beauty, Golf Enthusiast, Health and Fitness. Social networking, stuff focusing around the Big Apple. The EA1, which is mostly wallpapers and ringtones from the game and a couple of their free applications. So we're going to pick Golf Enthusiast. And it gives you a preview and it tells you what apps and stuff that you're going to get with it. Green Finder, GPS, Weatherbug so you can keep track of the weather. Par 72 like golf. And if you want it, you just hit install and it downloads all the stuff. And you can hit continue so it keeps downloading in the background. While it's working on that, let's take a look at the keyboard. It's a full 4-row keyboard here with an embedded number row up top. Particularly it's nice is an FN key, and then if you hit that you've got a .com extension right here. And you've got a symbol key, and the @ symbol is right at the base level so you don't have to hit any other key to do that. And then you've got a list of smileys over here available as well. And you have arrow keys. It's a pretty good keyboard, all in all. Okay, so about 5 minutes later we have downloaded all the applications, widgets, and other goodies that come with the Sprint ID Golf Pack, and we are back live again. So you can see you get one awesome golf clock here, pretty golf green background. It loads Weatherbug. Weatherbug is working on updating the weather forecast. Apparently it is not having an easy time of it right now. And we've got Tweetcaster for some reason installed. Not sure what that exactly has to do with golf. And we've got a couple of free golf games here. Par 72 Golf, Fun Putt, some other games like finger bowling. I don't think that exactly relates to golf, but hey, that's cool. And if we take a look at other applications, we've got Golf Week shortcut loaded up now. Green Finder, use your GPS to find where to go golfing. And stuff like that. So the Samsung runs on an 800 megahertz ARM6 family CPU. There's a lot of variation, depends on which CPU you're looking at. 800 megahertz on the G2 is a very fast CPU, but the 800 megahertz ARM6 family CPU that's used on this, it's okay. It's not too bad. As we found with the Zeo, sometimes the Sprint ID packs can be a little bit overwhelming for the CPU because they load so many widgets and a lot of applications. So be aware that if you load up a Sprint ID pack, you might want to kill some of the widgets and background applications it's installed if you find your phone's getting a little bit slow. Other Sprint software includes the usual Sprint TV. We've got TeleNav, GPS navigation, otherwise known as Sprint Navigation, NASCAR, football, Sprint Zone, which we saw the widget for, and Handmark Express, which they like to bundle lately too. Of course, you have Google Maps on here also for free turn-by-turn navigation and maps with POIs, and the good full suite of Google stuff here. We've got the YouTube player, Google Search, Google Places, and all that. Since this is vanilla Android 2.1 with Sprint ID on top, the actual Android core applications are untouched. So the Contacts application, the Calendar application, they look just like you would expect. Likewise, the dialer is pretty much unchanged. Standard big button dialer. You've got link for your favorites here. Whatever contacts you say are your favorites are in your quick pick list. A list of all contacts are accessible. And your call log. So we'll take a quick look at Sprint TV and see how that runs on this phone. It's a solid mid-range phone, so it should be able to handle it just fine. And we are doing this over Sprint's 3G EVDO Rev A network. The phone has a proximity sensor, which is handy when you're making phone calls, and an accelerometer. And it is a multi-touch display. And we'll take a look at ESPN. Phone has pretty good reception. Samsung on CDMA networks, that means Sprint and Verizon, are generally pretty good. So we've got about 50 to 60% signal strength here right now. We'll turn up the volume so you can hear the speaker on this. It gets pretty loud and pretty clear, and there's not much distortion there at all. So it's a nice speakerphone. Sprint TV is breaking up some. More than some at the moment.
It's a tough job, but hey, I'm a tough guy. Build it, run it, feed your friends, play ESPN.
Alright, now we're going to take a look at the web browser. Which defaults to the Sprint portal page, and we're going to visit our own web page. Since this is Android 2.1, there is no Flash player. But it does have the built-in YouTube player, so it can play the mobile version of Flash videos that you find in some websites. It's a little bit slower than we'd like to see, given the fact that this has 3G EVDO Rev A, and the 800 MHz CPU should help. Scrolling isn't quite as fast as we'd like to see. Again, for an 800 megahertz phone, it's not terrible or anything like that, but kind of makes you want to consider the Epic 4G a bit more. For only $50 more, you do get a way faster phone and a higher resolution, more beautiful display. But then again, you are also paying $10 extra a month for WiMAX 4G, whether you actually have service or not. As to whether you pick this or the older Samsung Intrepid, which is now down to, I think, $99. Well, this is $149 since it's new. It really depends on whether you want the Sprint ID service. That's the big differentiator right there for the phone. But it does have a very sharp display. It's got full Android on it, all Sprint services, and a very good hardware QWERTY keyboard. So that's the Samsung Transform with Sprint ID. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Visit our website to read the full review.